And cryptocurrency, the first application of cryptocurrency was Bitcoin, which has far outlived its life expectancy. I mean, good God Almighty, it's 11 years old. It has no privacy. You can't put smart contracts on that blockchain. You can't run distributed applications. For 4 years, Bitcoin was all that the people on the dark web accepted for payment. Now, the dark web, which is the criminal element of the world, uh, and criminals always are the first to accept new technologies. I mean, good God Almighty, when the telephone came out, who were the first adopters? The mob. I mean, they had nationwide phone systems so that they could coordinate nationwide criminal activity. What about the eight-cylinder automobile that came out in 1932? Criminals, gangsters bought it. Why? You could escape the police because you were twice as fast.
What's up, guys? So, as you seen that video with John McAfee, right? Um, I basically wanted to show that because I was going across Twitter a couple of days ago and I just kept seeing how Internet Computer actually made noise in something outside of crypto, right? And I don't think this was they didn't Internet Computer didn't even have to do marketing. The I don't know if you want to call them criminals, but TeamPCP, right? This group is actually getting infamous within the cybersecurity space, right? And I have slides later on showing that. And it's not really cybersecurity. Maybe you can call it like hacker groups, but either way, dark net, any kind of crime, and it's pretty prominent. It's gained recognition, and I just thought that John McAfee clip was very similar to what's happening right now. And the criminals, they adopt the best tech because they can't afford everything's on the line, right? Especially for what they want to do. And they're very innovative, right? People say all the time that prisoners, you know, when they're actually in jail, in prison, they're coming up with all these ideas and crazy contraptions of all sorts. And it's no different right now, right? This was never done before, using canister technology to hash out attacks. And not the overall point of this video will be like all my videos try to be is that I want to go against the contradictions in the space, right? And it's really the video is really going to be about what you believe in and how time now is more vital than ever to make a change, right? If you're someone that is just listening to narratives all day and you don't really think for yourself, and I'm not going to tell you what to believe, right? And I don't expect you to believe what I believe. I don't expect most people to, well, that's what actually I'm going to show right here, right? I don't expect a lot of people as time keeps going on. There's so many things being thrown at people, the general public, the news. It doesn't matter if you're on the news, mainstream news like Fox or CNN or whatever country you're from, the main news there, right? Uh, I think people globally are starting to agree that they don't know who to trust. And even within the space, right? There's been a lot of I don't know if I should call it misconceptions, but contradictions I brought up many times, right? And I do a kind of reverse psychology with that. I think that the contradictions actually show, I think that's actual evidence that this is going to be something big, right? And what do I mean by that? I think crypto is going to be reconstructed, and that's what you're seeing right now. That's why I have tables are turning, right? Because it's going to go from all this meme coin degenerate type of culture, and the tech is actually going to matter. The utility is going to start to really matter. And but this right here was just showing, for example, right? One of the narratives now about Bitcoin is that Jeffrey Epstein's one of the main people behind it. And I don't, like I said, guys, I don't care what you believe. It doesn't matter what I believe. You're just really going to have to. I don't think it's worth trying to convince people anything anymore. You just have to say your piece and show why you think it's reasonable, right? But if they don't believe you, if they don't agree with you, it's not the end of the world. I mean, you can't blame anybody. You can't even blame yourself for believing certain things because it's like every man for himself lately, in my opinion. That's how I see it. But whether you believe this or not, I'll say my personal opinion just for transparency. Regardless if it was Epstein or whoever, it doesn't matter to me. I always thought Bitcoin was a deep state project, and I am gonna make a video going into that eventually. But just to try and be consistent with the video, um, I want to move on from that topic right now. So I was on Twitter, and I just saw this as well, right? And this was just weird to me, right? I just point this out because you'll have large accounts, and who knows if most of it is bots. It probably is, but it's just random mass, shout outs of internet computer, right? Showing that it's technically superior in certain ways. And they large accounts will just randomly post this and then they'll just never talk about it for whatever reason. So that's always been weird to me. And I'm not really saying anything by that. I just, stuff like that makes always seemed weird to me. And I even think Altcoin Daily one time said everybody's sleep or no, Altcoin Daily literally made a tweet, internet computers being suppressed, right? In the news cycle, but it's I don't know, but that's I just wanted to point that out. It's just weird. So, but anyways, going back into the criminal, right? If you want to call them criminal, it's up to you. But talking about how internet computers technology is so advanced, it's actually getting adopted and gained recognition within the cybersecurity space. Not even regarding crypto, right? Not even related to crypto. And you have even small accounts here, right? And I don't know if this person's talking about ICP when they're talking about when it says canister turtle. I don't know what they're saying by this, but people might be waking up to the canister architecture, guys. And I think that's great if even within the space, a small fire is getting lit. Even a very small one is better than nothing. And even if it's a small number of people, as time goes on more and more, it's only going to grow, right? So, but these are actual people in like the hacker type of culture. It's not regarding crypto. And they're actually talking about internet computer. And this is a large account, guys, right? This is a large account within this space, right, of cybersecurity and all this stuff. I think they have 160,000. This guy I know is definitely not in crypto, right? I've watched his channel before. And when I read this tweet right here, I was like, wait a minute. This guy's referencing CanisterWorm as if it was like an event within the cybersecurity space that has its own name now, right? It's an event known as CanisterWorm. And I just thought that was cool. because it just shows you this isn't something that's like very niche. I thought this was niche, honestly. When I first saw the hack and the attack, I was like, okay, maybe a, a small amount of people will hear about this, but the team that's doing this is actually getting large. And guys, they're using internet computers technology. And I don't know. I mean, it's unfortunate to say it's bullish because it's with crime, but depending on what you think about them, right? Who they're hacking and who they're attacking. Like this guy low key seems like a fan of TeamPCP, but regardless of what you think, I'm not going to judge you one way or another, right? You'll have your own opinions, but like this is what I'm saying. It gets large and you don't even need marketing because the tech is so good. And that's what's going to happen as time goes on, right? This is just one of the catalysts. And I just wanted to get over that because that was the main part. I thought that was just such large news that but now to get into the point of the main video, right? What I was saying earlier about you have to believe, you have to come to you really do. And I'm not saying this as advice. I also think it's a fact, right? I don't think this is an opinion because you could have been someone in Cardano, guys, or Multiverse X or Caspa, right? Like all these L1s, all these main blockchains that people were investing in and really got real personal with, right? I was seeing crazy stuff like this thing called SPX 6900, and there was also this thing known as Pulse Chain, right? And I don't know, man. You know, it just reiterates what I was saying. You can look those both up if you want on your own time, but basically, people can just believe anything, man. And who knows what's going to play out, but I think the best bet is technology and utility, right? Because I take this serious. I think this is going to be a serious thing running. And guys, you see that already. This wasn't a sandbox attack with what Team PCP did. This was real world. This was real world. This wasn't a test net. These are actual live hacks, right? And they get large enough to make an impact in a complete separate space. And you could argue, right, like crypto and like cryptography, right? Even before cryptocurrency, cryptography and cybersecurity, it kind of goes hand in hand already. So, but I think this is a great way. It's like it's programmed. It's like internet computer is programmed to be found, guys, inevitably. It's too large to ignore. It's too large to ignore, and it's only going to get larger as more catalysts play out. But anyways, to conclude with this point is that, guys, if you were someone in Cardano now, if I was just some random average guy and I saw all this, right? You have Charles Hoskinson, the actual CEO or the founder of Cardano, right? He's like attacking his own community. And even his own community is 50-50 with him. They don't know if this guy's like really scamming them. They don't think he's transparent enough. They think he's doing a kind of like nepotism, right? He's making people that he's close friends with actually important, like giving them important roles that they're not even qualified for. And you have main members of the community, right? Like this guy's always shilling Cardano, right? And this is what I mean. So, the tech's going to matter one day, guys. And when the tech really starts mattering for all of this, it's going to be like that quote. When the tide pulls, I'm going to paraphrase because I don't remember it, but it's when the tide pulls back, then you really see who's swimming naked, right? And it's basically saying when times aren't good anymore, like right now, right? When it's all these hacks happening, AI is getting scarier. There's not as much money or liquidity or popularity in crypto. People think DeFi is dead. The trust is at all-time lows. The culture's so degenerate. I mean, and not only that, not only with hacks, but a lot of like side chains or L2s or things that were trying to be within the ecosystem, they're shutting down operations. They can't afford it anymore. Guys, a lot of these chains are not generating revenue for shit. It's insane. And I mean, look at this, right? This was just in April, guys. And I made a tweet before a while ago, and I don't use Twitter much anymore, right? I actually despise Twitter. Um, I think the only social media I really don't mind that much is YouTube, right? But yeah, I'm not a fan of Twitter lately. I'm probably not going to be on it much anymore, but it's just too good because like it's crypto centric, right? Like crypto Twitter is the thing. So, but just look at this, right? This was just in April, and you're going to tell me that people are going to get adopted. You're going to adopt this. It's because people don't take it serious. And that's exactly what I was saying before about narratives, right? And what you're going to believe. And I'm not going to argue with you, right? At the end of the day, this is all a bet. That's how I see this. I see this as a game. All right? That's my general thesis. Um, this is a game or a riddle. And you're not going to be given all the answers, but you'll be given hints. We live in a world, right? It's 2026, and everybody's saying this tech's going to get adopted, but they don't really care about the technology. But people that are completely unbiased, that don't have it, well, I'm not, I don't have a demographic chart or anything showing how many people on the in the hacker community. I mean, it would probably be common, right? Because they probably use cryptocurrency instead of credit cards, the ones on the dark net at least. But I'm assuming these people are actually unbiased using this technology and they're using internet computer. And no other blockchain can say that, guys. No other blockchain can say hackers are using them because their technology is so good. They hack they hack their chain. They hack their bridges. That's what they do. And steal their money. They don't use the chain itself to do a hack, guys. The protocol itself. That should show ICP's technical prowess alone, right? And while all of this is happening, right, while you're having multiple communities crash out and burn, um, you only have internet computer getting more and more partnerships or more and more large institutional, organizational, governmental recognition, right? Pakistan is already adopting the cloud engines and going to have a caffeine license of people within their government. Always on. I said this in the last video. It's always on, guys. It's the future of software. It's if AI is the train, ICP is the railroad, right? And this is just going more into the narrative discussion about if things are gonna if things are really gonna play out the way you thought they were, whatever you believe, right? Uh, for me, what I do is I always attack my own arguments and try to make. I want it to make sense for me at least. I need it to make sense for me. So if it doesn't make sense for me, right? For example, that when I first got in here, I was constantly being told that this is going to be the thing that takes you away from the grips of the elite and corrupt. Meanwhile, they're the ones pushing it now, right? I think that was all by design. You, a Trojan horse of some sort. But You see, instead of you getting disappointed by that, one way or another, it's going to happen. That's how I see it. So you may as well benefit off of it. But if you find that morally corrupt, um, I don't know what to say, right? That might be something you might not want to accept. And I could be wrong. That's what I'm saying, though. That's the whole point of this, guys. Because people in Caspa 24/7 were saying fair launch, fair launch, fair launch. It's not corrupt, right? And then you have one of the core devs on Caspa that's been since the beginning. One of the like practically like a co-founder, right? I'm not sure if he's an actual co-founder, but he was one of the OGs. He was someone everybody considered an OG and one of the main like the main tech guy for Caspa. Guys, he came out calling the founder. I mean, you see it right here. Wow, who would have thought that all it takes for magnificent tech to become a ghost chain is a founder that actively sabotages the ecosystem? And I thought this was sarcasm at first because I didn't even know Caspa drama was going on. I didn't even know Caspa drama was going on. They have one of like the I'll give them that, right? Caspa has a very cult community. They're real legit. I, I I think it's one of the very few communities that isn't just completely flooded by bots personally. But either way, as you see right now, one of the core devs was calling out the founder for doing sketchy shit just out of nowhere, right? And you're gonna believe what you believe, guys. But see, regardless of what you think about Definity or how they're handling the marketing or whatever you think about XYZ, the tech is legit, man. The tech is legit. And that's my bet. Like I was saying, I think this is a game, the way this is set up. So, and of course, again, the image does not load. It was basically showing. I'll just put up what this was, though. Okay, but guys, the Cloud Security Alliance actually talked about CanisterWorm. And why do I think that's important? One, they were a very, very, very large type of organization, right? And it's literally just about security. And it has over 80,000. I mean, I don't know if this is true. I haven't done my due diligence, right? Maybe this was like edited. So if I'm wrong about that, I'll edit it, of course. I'll put like a comment or I'll edit over this section of the video. But 80,000 individual members worldwide, guys. And they gained significant reputability in 2011, right? When the American Presidential Administration selected the CSA, right? Like this organization for announcing the federal government, guys, the federal government cloud's computing strategy. So these aren't like just some random ass, you know, they're kind of just like amateurs. They were giving strategies to the federal government for cloud. And they're talking about CanisterWorm. So in my opinion, right? And you can believe whatever you want about anything. I think at the highest level of politics and at the highest level of security, people know about internet computer. People know about internet computer, guys. Or at worst, right? The match has been lit. So it markets itself. The tech markets itself, man. And before I get into the last slides about the thought experiment, this was regarding the same narrative type of conversation I was having, right? About how things can just change out of nowhere. And you know, I'm completely open to discuss anything, whatever you guys think, right, in the comments. But see, that's the thing about Twitter. Twitter incentivizes people to comment because they think everybody's going to see it and everybody wants their comment to be seen. but you really don't have these kind of in-depth conversations in other kinds of social media. And that bothers me because what Twitter does is it's just all about engagement farming most of the time. It's just about like saying something insane, a hot take. It's bad incentives, in my opinion, and that's why I like YouTube more. Right? There's actual more discussions that are genuine, if anything. Right? Because you know it's not going to be plastered all over the social media itself. But I'm not saying to believe this either, by the way, guys. But just to say the same thing though, 10 years ago, right? There was this guy, and he basically he was like he's pretty rich, right? He's pretty wealthy, and he was saying like 6 years ago, right? In 2020, I believe, around 2020, that if you knew who was behind Bitcoin, you'd run as fast as you can to sell it, right? Now I don't know if that's kind of just funny how like this comes out and people are starting to think this, but as someone that's in the middle with everything, because I don't really care about this because I think it's just distractions and it doesn't matter either way, right? From my point of view, because I my point of view is I think this is a game. I think this is a stage. So I'm literally just sitting back and like, all right, I'm gonna watch everything implode because people are seeing all the red flags, but they're just acting like it's not there. And I'm not talking about this. I'm talking about all the contradictions in crypto, right? Things they just completely ignore. Everybody was saying that this is supposed to take power away from the most powerful and the elite, but they're the ones adopting it, and people just don't care, right? They're still investing. I mean, not that it's getting adopted from people on the outside, but the people in here, the ones still holding, they want them to pump this up, man. They want the adoption from the governments and the banks and the institutions. I thought it was inevitable, right? Because that's it. All you got to ask is, how does it make sense that these people would adopt something? And it's kind of like they're like the main arbiters now, secretly, right? If they don't want this to move forward, all they had to do was never talk about it. It would have stayed on the dark net. I think it's also unauthentic, but that's just me. But saying what I said throughout this entire video, right? And I did this thought experiment before once, and it was just putting everything else at a same fair market value, right? If everything was on the same level, right? And you have internet computer here with everything else, guys. Internet computer is easily a top 5. It's easily a top 5 technology, right? And this is market cap, okay? Tether's literally just a stable coin. That's all it is. That is the utility, right? For trading and just that's the utility though. The utility though. It's just a stable coin. And if we're actually going to talk about like protocol and what the blockchain can do, I don't know how you don't put internet computer in at least top 5 when you see everything the same now, right? And to be unbiased and act like I'm someone that cares about technology and I'm looking at this from the outside, what would I invest in? Okay. So I'm gonna role play. Okay, you know what? Bitcoin's legit, right? That's the OG, and I think it just started. It's the first mover, right? It's safe. You can't go wrong with it. It always goes up no matter what, even when it's down. It's inevitable. Okay, I'll invest in ETH too because it's one of the main. It's number 2. It controls most of the space. If ETH was gone, a lot of things would implode, right? Okay, I'll invest in ETH too. You have XRP. It's trying to do on-demand liquidity. Solana's really fast, has a lot of culture, marketing, community, and might go up, right? And depending on like how you invest and what your strategy is, if you're a trader, you're going to choose what you choose. But the point I'm saying, guys, is that these are all the narratives you have, right? This is if you're taking it serious and that it's not all a scam that's just going to go to zero. So if we're going to talk about technology, you can't talk about technology without internet computer being here, guys. And that's the thing. When technology starts mattering, it's only going to matter once and it's never going to go back. So you're not going to have things like Pi, Pepe, whatever this is, man. Right? Dogecoin. It's like this is just it's just money. It's all distraction. It's all distraction from actual utility and actual impact and actual technology that's going to change the world. I don't even know what this shit is, Sky, right? Like it's just all the same. You look at most of these coins, guys, okay? You look all of them up, every single one of them. There's a few ones, right? Like HBAR, I'll give like BitTensor's doing something a little different. But at the end of the day, a lot of these are currency plays, fintech, right? Financial technology type of plays like XRP, Stellar. And I think the enterprise ones, the ones that actually built for where this is heading, the ones that don't just care about degenerate meme culture and gambling and all that shit, right? The ones that aren't like just, just trying to hype something up to rug it, the ones that actually will have partnerships, I think they will last. And I've said this in a lot of my videos, right? You're going to have an equivalent of the dot-com crash where the ones that remain actually are needed, right? And the whole point of that was just to say that internet computer, without a doubt in my mind, is going to be within the top 5. It should be number 1, guys, right? I mean, it doesn't have to even be it doesn't have to play on the same level of any of these people, man. Because you're not having hackers choose their blockchain to carry out attacks. And, maybe that's not the flex I think it is, but I'm talking about the principle of you're not going to choose shitty tech and commit crimes if it's going to have you get caught, right? If it was actually faulty technology and you got traced and you got you know connected to anything, or it caused an error with something that went against your operations and you got screwed, right? The point I'm making is this isn't speculative. As of right now, it's not speculative. It's legit. It's legit tech. And that's not talking about cloud engines. That's not talking about caffeine AI that builds websites directly on chain. You just think about it. You just look at all of this right here. And you just hear what I said. Nothing else ever does that, guys. Okay? This is the craziest part. Internet computer doesn't have a competitor. It doesn't have a competitor. There's nothing else that will be a cloud out of every single crypto you ever see. Right? Filecoin is not doing the same thing. They don't run computation. Arweave, OW, they're not even a blockchain, I don't think. None of these are. I already went over last video with a lot of these that if they go up in value, right, it's going to be harder to only depend on their chain to store anything on there because you need to use the token. You need to use the coin to do that. And if the coin goes up in value, it's self-defeating. With internet computer, it's a flat price with XDR, and it's just like metered utilization in cloud, guys, with cycles, right? You pay for what you use. It's the crypto cloud, man. And there's only one. There's only one, and now you have cloud engines about to go global. Well, hopefully, right? We're gonna see how this plays out. I'm not gonna try and be Houdini, predict the future, but and you already have a government, and you have Pierre meeting up with the UN, joining the first session of scaling blockchain for public good. Public good, guys, right? Commercializing. They had to build the tech out first, right? And people were saying, no, no, do it for DeFi, get USDT, get Tether, right? And just to end the video, guys, when I put Web 2.5 to Web 3 like this, right? It's because of what Dominic said. To hell with Web 3 and the whole ideologies and Bitcoin has to be number one. Bitcoin has to be number one. It's the best one. It's the first one. It's just it's fragile narratives like that get people here. And that's my bet. My bet. And you know what? You could say the tech isn't everything. It's also the adoption and the first mover advantage and culture and marketing. And I'm not going to say that's not true, right? But that's your bet. Your bet is going to be something that has 50-50 adoption and marketing with some tech, right? I'm all about the tech, especially when the tech is as clear as day in a complete different field. It's on a complete different level. Easily top 5, guys. I mean, I don't even think it matters what the crypto over here is going to be priced in the future, market cap, whatever the overall market cap of crypto. It doesn't matter. I think internet computer is going to untie itself from all of this. It's going to matter in its own respect, regardless if all of this fails or not. It doesn't matter. All of this, yeah, I'm going to say that. All of this can go to shit. Literally. All of it can go to shit. Every single thing. And internet computer is still going to have a spot in all of this in the future. And yeah, that's all I have to say. So until next time, guys.